Hey!
Olá!
In this video, we're going to be giving our review for the two-player head-to-head card drafting game, Seven Wonders Duel.
Seven Wonders Duel is a two-player head-to-head re-implementation of Seven Wonders, designed by Antoine Bauza and Bruno Cathala, with art by Miguel Coimbra. The objective of the game is to develop your city through constructing buildings and wonders. This is done by drafting cards from a central display, which is a mix of face-up and face-down cards that need to be unlocked. These cards grant you resources, victory points, and coins needed to progress. Winning can be done in one of three ways: military supremacy, scientific supremacy, or by civilian victory.
The game gets set up by shuffling the 3 age decks and progress tokens. Each player will start with 7 coins and select from 8 of the 12 wonder cards, ending up with 4 each. This game is played over 3 ages, rounds, with a unique card structure, where you will choose from one of the accessible cards from the 20 card spread in front of you. On each player's turn, select a face-up, unblocked card from the available options. These cards will represent one of the 7 different types of buildings. Brown cards provide raw materials, grey cards give manufactured goods, blue cards are civilian buildings that grant a lot of victory points, red cards are military buildings, allowing you to progress the conflict pawn towards your opponent, green cards are scientific buildings, yellow cards are commercial buildings, and purple cards, the guild buildings, which are only available in the third age, which is also the last round, and grant special bonuses if you meet the criteria. With your chosen card, you can choose to do one of the following actions. Option 1. Construct a building. Here, you pay the cost of the building and place it into the area in front of you, which makes up your city, gaining any benefits from the placed card. Some buildings that usually have a cost might be able to be placed for free, through chaining. This occurs when you have a matching symbol already in your city. Option 2. Discard the card to get the gold. Place the card into a discard pile, gaining 2 coins plus 1 extra coin for every yellow card in your city. Option 3. Construct a wonder. Pay the cost of the wonder and place a chosen card under it. Proceed to resolve the wonder's effect from the right side of the card. Only one player will be able to build all 4 of their wonders, because as soon as one player builds their 4th, the other player can only build 3.
A round ends when there are no more cards in the display. Then you build the next round's display according to the specific pattern of that age. There are 3 ways to win the game. By military supremacy, if you manage to move the conflict pawn to the final space on the tract on your opponent's side. By scientific supremacy, if you acquire 6 unique scientific symbols. If you meet any of these 2 winning conditions, the game ends immediately. And finally, by civilian victory. Here the game concludes at the end of age 3 and the winner is the one with the most victory points. Both players total their victory points, which can be gained from buildings, wonders, progress tokens, 1 victory point for every 3 coins they have left, and possible victory points if the conflict pawn is on their opponent's side of the track. If tied, then the player with the most victory points gained from the blue cards wins, otherwise it's a shared win.
This is another game that we actually started playing on Board Game Arena. We had followed the online tutorial which taught us how to play. However, learning this way led to us completely missing a couple of things regarding the admin that you have to do while playing the physical copy. Because of that, when we finally managed to play our physical copy, we had to resort to the rulebook a lot, trying to understand some of what had been missed. That said, the game comes with a really in-depth rulebook with explanations for all aspects of the game. It can seem a little bit daunting at 20 pages, and with some of the wording used, although many of these pages are reference pages for all the available buildings and guild cards, wonders, and progress tokens in the game. It also comes with player aid, which is great as it helps us remember how some of the actions work, and also illustrates the card setup for each round.
Inside the box you will find one game board, 23 cards for age 1, 23 cards for age 2, 20 cards for age 3, 7 guild cards, 12 wonder cards, 4 military tokens, 10 progress tokens, 1 conflict pawn, 31 coins made up of 3 denominations, a score book, a rule book, and a player aid. This all fits neatly back into the box with a well-designed insert that keeps things together. The player cards are of a nice quality with really nice unique artwork by Miguel Coimbra. The components such as progress tokens and coins are of a nice thickness and feel robust.
Seven Wonders Duel can be played on Board Game Arena. It's actually how we learned to play the game, and I've since played many sessions as a quick break between some work. The Board Game Arena adaptation is very good and takes care of all the admin for you. It also features some nice and clear explanations for all the cards when you hover over them. There is also an official mobile app, available on Android and iOS devices. This allows you to play with a bot or by passing back and forth with a friend locally. We haven't tried this version ourselves, however, so can't comment on how good of an implementation it might be.
There are 2 main expansions available for this game. There is Pantheon, where you create a unique pantheon of gods to worship from Greece, Egypt, and the Middle East. These gods have unique benefits which can change up how the game plays. It also adds 2 new wonders and 3 progress tokens to the game. And there's Agora, where we have a senate with senators and conspirators comprising 6 separate chambers that provide players with benefits once they take possession of the area. It also adds 2 new wonders and 2 progress tokens to the game. We also discovered a free mini expansion that enables solo play, developed by the designers, in which you will play against some bot characters. You can print this mini expansion yourself at home. In the publisher's webshop, you can also find a variety of promo cards or upgraded pieces. A couple that have caught our eye are the Metal Conflict Pawn and the Metal Coins. There is also a recent re-implementation of this game that has been receiving a lot of praise this year. That is the Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth. In this game, the theme is really well incorporated, and there are some adaptations to the theme, such as, for instance, the conflict track being replaced from military to Nazgul chasing the hobbits Sam and Frodo.
Time to conclude this video with some closing thoughts and our review. This game is fantastic. It's amazing, I love it. We slept on this one for a while, even after having acquired it, and that was a mistake. It is so much fun.
Yes, this is one that we even have been playing a lot lately because we enjoyed so much. It could seem a little bit too daunting at first, the amount of symbols and what you can do and keep track of, and I think that's why we kept postponing it, really.
Yep, there is a lot to learn at the start perhaps. The physical rulebook, when we finally got around to it, did seem to be a lot to take in. It's funny because we had been playing on Board Game Arena so much that a couple of the rules actually slipped us by. I hadn't realized that the gold you get for discarding a card is impacted by how many yellow cards you have in your city. Another thing we didn't notice while playing on the Board Game Arena version was how the trading for resources worked. It was only in playing the physical version and reading through the rulebook properly did we understand that the price you pay for missing resources is impacted by whether your opponent has that resource or not.
That's why you can see us resort to the rulebook so often here. Even our strategies have changed ever since we started playing the physical copy. And that's both a good thing and a bad thing about learning how to play on Board Game Arena. All the admin is dealt with by the game, so we always know what moves are valid or can be done, and the points, coins, or whatever calculations in the game are done by Board Game Arena too. So if you learn how to play a game there, not only will it be quicker to play, but you might not have a good grasp of how certain things work in certain games.
Yep, Board Game Arena is wonderful, but if you don't pay attention, you can miss how some parts of the game work. Each action in this game feels meaningful, and I don't think I've had a single game of this where I didn't enjoy the experience, even if I'm unable to get the win.
Yeah, we still feel the stress from wanting to win, but in our case, at least, it's one of those games where we can easily appreciate each other's actions and results, especially when it's a really good move.
I like that there are 3 ways to win in this game. The 2 supremacy wins can really sneak up on you too, if you're not paying attention. Joanna has twice been able to get the scientific supremacy over me, as she had made use of the progress token, which counts as one of the 6 required unique scientific symbols.
Sneaky, sneaky!
And recently, I was able to get a military supremacy by purposely discarding a 3-strike card, to then later claim it back for free by building a wonder which lets you place a card into your city out of the discard pile.
And this is what I meant by appreciating each other's game. In this last example, I was completely unaware, and the game was pretty controlled, with me probably on the winning side. And when we both looked at the discard pile, I got so excited with that move that I even high-fived Christian. In our experience, when you want to win from either military or scientific supremacy, you have to act on that from the beginning of the game, because you basically build your city around that. But the opposite is okay though. Imagine you are leaning on a scientific supremacy strategy, but you can't get any science cards, the green cards. You can easily change your game and lean on the victory points with the blue cards, which are the civilian buildings. And that has happened to both of us.
Yep, it's easier to pivot out of those strategies if needed, rather than into. We had a recent game actually, where I was kind of going with the military route, but could see with the cards available that I should instead pivot into getting victory points or gold to try and get extra points at the end, as there was no way for me to close the gap and win with military supremacy. One other thing I really like are that the cards from the Third Age feature guild cards, and these can really ramp up the victory points you get at the end of the game, provided you meet their criteria. They can give you a little boost in gold too when constructing the building, which always helps.
Yes, some get you coins for each yellow or red cards you have, or depending on the amount of wonders you have built, that sort of thing. Oh, and the progress tokens are cool too, even if you are not going for scientific victory. I go for them often because of the goodies related to them.
They are. I usually sleep on those, but I should try to get more progress tokens in my games, as they can offer some interesting perks.
Oh, and another thing that I like is that we both have experienced all 3 types of victories, which is pretty cool if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I like that we've both experienced all the possible ways to win and lose. So, for a rating then, this is an easy 5 out of 5 from me. Each game is packed with meaningful actions, and it's got a lot of room for you to explore different strategies. I've really not played a game of this where I didn't enjoy it.
It's 5 out of 5 for me too. Yay! It's the same for me. I really have enjoyed all games so far. It's really tense, it's clever. You have to think and plan ahead. You have to be quick to adapt your strategy on the fly. There are some games that I prefer to have a more gentle approach, not to be so mean with each other, but this one we have to. It's actually good for me to get used to it. And whenever we feel the urge to play something like this is our go-to game.
So, that's been our review for 7 Wonders Duel. If this sounds like a game you might be interested in, then it is well worth checking out on Board Game Arena if you are able to. Please note it is a game from their premium catalog, so would require a premium account holder to host the table. Thank you for taking the time to watch. We've been Board Game Beans.
You've been you.
Have a lovely day and happy
Gaming!